Cougar Nation, welcome back inside the BYU Broadcasting Building in Provo, Utah for another edition of the Sitake Show, your weekly look inside the BYU football program with a review, a preview, along with some stats and stuff, and a one-on-one with a BYU player. And we invite you to join the conversation by submitting questions for Kalani on Twitter using hashtag Sitake Show, as well as Facebook and Instagram on the BYU TV sports accounts. Here's what's in store coming up in the next hour. We'll review the South Florida game and preview the matchup with number 14, Boise State. Our film room segment tonight features running backs coach AJ Steward. We'll roll out the top 10 plays of the first half of this season. Deep Blue explores the compelling story of Khyiris Tonga, and JJ Nwigwe joins us in studio. We get tonight's show on the road by saying hello to BYU's fourth-year head coach, the former five-year fullback, Kalani Sitake. Hey, Kay. How you doing?
Good to see you, Greg.
Good to see you. Well, always more fun to have the show when we've had a few wins to talk about, and right now we're not at that spot. How are you and the guys dealing with the little slide that you have going on right now?
I mean, obviously the guys are disappointed, just like the coaching staff, myself, but we're going to work hard, you know, and that's the only way that you can respond to adversity. And we've dealt with some adversity in the past, and this is nothing that's new to us. Obviously, we would like to play better, and that's my job as a head coach, is to make sure that we put our players in position to play better and have success and win games. And so I look forward to doing that against a ranked team in Boise State this Saturday.
You guys came off a bye week this past week and headed down to Tampa, South Florida, and you were in control of this one. It felt like it was going to go your way for a long part of the day, and then it slipped away at the end. Yeah,
and you know, evaluating all of it, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things and mistakes that were made. But you know, we just need to do a better job of closing out the games, and especially when we've done in the past years, we've done pretty good with a lead at halftime, and so this is not like us, you know, and so we got to find ways to finish the game and be aggressive the entire 60 minutes.
Okay, BYU falls at South Florida by a score of 27-23 on Saturday. Let's see how it all went down at Raymond James Stadium this past weekend down in Florida. Beautiful venue, NFL venue. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were overseas. Their place was free, and so BYU and USF played a game. And early in this one, Isaiah Kaufusi, opportunistic.
Yeah, and he was in the right spot. You know, we had spy coverage and forced the quarterback out of the pocket, had some extra guys in the rush.
And then here's BYU's first touchdown of the day, and what a ball by Jaron, and what a great grab by Dax Milne, being held off with one arm, made it a one-handed grab.
Dax has been doing that since he got here, and it's good to give him an opportunity to see the ball go deep and for him to come down with the one-handed catch, and he's a playmaker.
Here's a play where USF gets back in it, quarterback hit as he throws. And I don't know if he was going for the wide receiver or the tight end, but the tight end makes a great diving catch there in the end zone to make this 13-7. BYU still had the lead. We head to the third quarter. BYU leading at 16-7, still a decent lead. And Jordan Cronkright, their fine running back, knocks one in, and it's 16-13. And then Jaron Hall showing off the other part of his athleticism. Great run here.
Yeah, we know that he's got great athleticism and ability to make big plays with his feet. You saw him throw the deep ball to Dax, and then he can also run the ball, and that felt really good with him with the ball in his hands.
BYU had a 9-point lead, and helping to keep the Bulls in it was Bentley Sanders on this kickoff return. Gets clipped by one of his blockers right here and takes him off balance just enough to force him to cartwheel. Before long, though, USF finding Chaz Ayu, and Chaz Ayu has his first INT of the season, first of his career. Made a couple big defensive plays in back-to-back games.
Man coverage there, and you know, we're able to create some good disruption and get the quarterback to get a bad throw. But the key in the defense was being able to stop the run in the second half. That was a problem that we had, and looking to fix that. Not good enough for the run defense the entire season so far in 6 games.
BYU does find itself trailing late, 27-23 on a 4th and 7. Baylor Romney, who's come in now for Jaron Hall, finds brother Gunnar Romney, but BYU kept short of the line to gain. The Cougars would get the ball back in the final minute. One last chance, just trying to go-ahead touchdown. Baylor with a nice 8-yard rush. And one of the nicest catches we're going to see in this game, Talon Shumway laying out, taking a hard hit. Tough play by Talon. And this thing gets late as Baylor takes a sack late in the contest.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we had the lineman go down on that play. And, you know, we had the clock was going to run, so we had a running clock, had a 10-second runoff, and had only a chance for one play. And unfortunately, I'm not able to come down with that win and that touchdown at the end, but it shouldn't have came down to that. We had way too many issues and way too many mistakes in the 59 minutes before that.
BYU did a lot of good things in this game that don't result in the win, plus turnovers in the margin, plus 15 minutes in possession time, a total offense advantage, 55% on third downs, another good number. So a lot of good things happened. But like you said, Kalani, just the finishes have been lacking lately for BYU in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's what we got to get fixed. And I think the defense to buckle down and stop the run when you have a lead, and then teams are trying to get points on the board, and they try to do it by the run game. It shouldn't happen to us. And we've been better than that before. Our cover teams on punt and kickoff has been better, and didn't show on that game.
Our next graphic here talks about run defense. That's been a staple of your tenure here at BYU. Very highly ranked every year. This season, more of a challenge. Where do the improvements start, do you think, in being a little more stout against the run?
Well, it starts with me as a coach and getting them in the right scheme in the right spot to make sure that they can stop the run. And then, for our coaches and our players to work well together. The players work hard, and so we've got to do a better job, and I got to do a better job coaching those guys.
BYU quarterback Jaren Hall, we saw a lot of them there in that clip. I was having a really good day, I thought, in his first ever start behind center on Saturday. Just on that part alone, for a kid making his first start, how would you say that Jaren Hall did before he ended up being knocked out here in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, unfortunate that he got hurt. I mean, he's a trooper, and that was really hard. You know, us breaking him in, getting him ready for the game. We had an extra week and felt really good with his progress, and just sad that opportunity that he had in that game was cut short. But I thought Baylor stepped in really well, and we put him in a tough spot, and he was able to answer and play as aggressive as he possibly could. And we're gonna rely. Unfortunately, we're relying on our depth at quarterback and a lot of other positions, but that's football. That's how it works sometimes.
Well, it's pretty early in the week as we talk right now. It's Tuesday. Do you have a gut sense of where Jared might be for this week's game?
That's like a training room question, you know, the sports medicine department, and I think the most important thing is that we do what's best for Jared and his health and his future, and so we'll see how it goes. It's still day to day. As of right now, if the game were played today, he would not be playing right now, but fortunately we have till Saturday to make that decision, and it's just a matter of how much practice time and how much that really can we expect from him, not practicing as much, and how much we can use him in the game. So right now we're focusing on moving on without him, and if he's able to go, then that's an added bonus for us.
So if you have to start Baylor Romney against Boise State, we presume it to be Baylor because he played ahead of Joe this past weekend. What do you like from what you saw from Baylor at USF, and what do you think he can do well moving forward as he progresses?
I think I mentioned this before. He has really good composure, and I thought that he stood in the pocket really well and delivered. He wasn't really nervous about the pass rush. He seemed comfortable there for a guy that hasn't had a lot of reps and significant reps in the game. You know, being able to do this. We've seen him do this in practice and seen him do it for the last year when he was redshirting and things like that. So I know that he's got a lot of athleticism in his family, and he's a tough kid, you know. So I expect him to be able to perform as well as any of the quarterbacks that we've had. And we have him and Joe Critchlow that we're working with right now in the quarterback position, and you know, we'll do whatever it takes for us to score some points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, so on the points notion, if you compare the first few games this year to the first few games last year, BYU is gaining more yards, moving the ball better, but not scoring a lot more points. And I guess we have to look to red zone first of all, right? Last year was a good red zone year, and this year it's dropped off.
I think it's looking at being efficient on all three phases of the game, and I think defensively we talked about the issues that we have there, and offensively it's finishing the drives and getting in the end zone. You know, so we're up in yards and all that stuff, but really the points is all that matters. That's we have to score more points to win games, you know. And so defensively, I think the issue is to stop the run, and offensively put points on the board, and 7 usually does better than 3.
Absolutely, and even though you appreciate what Jake Oldroyd's doing as a field goal kicker, and he had another long one for you on the weekend, 51 yards. The long field goals, that actually helps the team, because if you stall, that can help you out. It's when he's having to kick the shorter field goals that you're like, well, I'd prefer his PATs at that point, right?
Yeah, and then that's really just about the drives and being able to sustain drives and not be caught in a bad position when you're in the red zone and 3rd and long and things like that. And being able to, we did better with being in 3rd and short. It's just, you'd like to be in 3rd and short in the red zone area and the extended red zone area. We're going past the 40-yard line. So that's things that we need to improve on, and we've got some guys that are getting a lot of significant reps, we have to simulate as much as we can in practice, and so that they perform in the game.
After some struggles with 3rd and short this year, BYU was perfect on 3rd and short against South Florida, 7 for 7 on those 3rd and 3s or shorter. So that part got fixed. It's just too bad it didn't come and result in a win as a result.
Yep, and that's you know, what comes down to it. Defense has to stop people from scoring. Offense has to score points, and special teams has to do whatever they can to flip the field and get us in a good position to have success. Whether it's you know, pin them deep or get a good return in order for us to have a shorter field.
Okay, that's our breakdown segment. Heading into our first break on the show, this reminder that for your day-to-day Cougar sports play-by-play, watch BYU Sports Nation with Spencer Linton and Jerem Jordan weekdays noon Eastern on BYU TV and BYU Radio. When we come back, we preview BYU and Boise. The Broncos have their own quarterback injury issues right now, and we go inside the film room. Running backs coach AJ Steward with Jerem Jordan. This is BYU football with Kalani Sitake.
If I got hurt and was laid up at home, I wouldn't even think to call a lawyer. What a hassle. I'd want to meet them first.
What if I told you that for your first consultation, your lawyer will come to you, home or hospital?
Really?
Really?
They do that?
If you've been seriously injured, we'll come to you. It's your job to get better. It's our job to deal with the insurance companies and protect your legal rights.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
They prefer to be bringing the heat, getting set for success, demonstrating their drive. But when their blood and sweat turns to tears or anything else, we lay the groundwork for BYU's athletes to hit the ground running again, and you as well. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU athletics.
Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing like I can fly.
2019 BYU Spectacular featuring American singer and songwriter Ben Rector along with Hillary Weeks joins a talented BYU lineup October 17th and 18th in the BYU Marriott Center.
It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
Get your tickets at BYUtickets.com.
Oh, hey, it's me, Kirby. My mission? 1, I want to join up with free bikes for kids.
Have you changed the tire? Yeah.
2, I want to learn how to fix up a bike. 3, I want to see why they do it. 4, I want to be a part of one of these bike giveaways. 5, I don't want to run into any parked cars in the process.
BYU football with Kalani Sitake is brought to you by Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life.
You are seeing are from BYU's last win against Boise State in 2015. Back with more of the Sitake Show here on BYU TV, the app, and BYU TV, and giving you this Saturday's game day broadcast schedule. Cougar pregame live on BYU Radio starting at 8:15 Eastern with BYU TV's countdown to kickoff at 9 Eastern. The game's on ESPN2 and BYU Radio at 10:15 Eastern with postgame coverage on BYU TV and BYU Radio deep into the night. Well, it's that time of the show when every week we take you inside the plays with an assistant coach highlighting some of the good stuff from BYU's last game, assisted by our own Jerem Jordan of Sports Nation fame. This week, running backs coach AJ Steward takes us inside the film room.
All right, certainly wanted the win, AJ, but a season-high 218 rushing yards. How did you feel about the rushing effort?
I thought we, going into the game, we were really big into finishing our runs, and I wanted our guys to just try to get an extra 2 yards per carry with the way they finish and just playing at a high level. I thought we accomplished that for the most part.
Okay, let's break down some of that film, starting with an inside zone with Emmanuel Supa.
For sure. He really gets the first point of contact right here, you know, at the 32-yard line. And by the time the play's over, he's at the 41. Two main things that happen on this play that allow him to be successful that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. First, he hugs the vertical seam. It's basically that block right here that the tackle's making. You want to hug that block as tight as you can because this guy's going to be the next man to the ball. And so you want to be able to maximize the space between you and that guy and allow yourself to have a chance for run, arm tackle, or same foot, same shoulder on contact and fall forward. And so as you see here, he does a really good job of that, hugging it tight, and that makes this guy's tackle a lot tougher. The other term that we use on a day-to-day basis and we drill is Zeke drill. And I use the term Zeke drill because Ezekiel Elliott, if you ever watch him, he does a really good job of keeping his eyes up. He grabs his wrist and gets really skinny on contact, and that promotes pad level for one, and then your eyes are up. And I tell my guys all the time, if your eyes are up, you have a chance to make the guy miss.
Do you have a Zeke drill where they jump in a Salvation Army bucket as well? Is that part of the deal?
If we could celebrate, we probably would. That'd be fun.
Lopini Katoa had his best game of the season. Let's check out an inside run from Lopini.
Okay, a lot of the same coaching points here. He uses another technique that we call same foot, same shoulder. What I mean by same foot, same shoulder is that your near foot and your near shoulder hits the guy at the same time, and that allows you to power through and use your momentum to not only have better pad level than the guy, but to be able to barrel through him. And he did a great job right there.
Okay, and let's finish with this. Outside zone now with Lopini Katoa.
Yeah, see here kind of what we're looking at. He's reading the tight end's block. They're trying to set an edge, and so he needs to get his eyes to his secondary key. Okay, his secondary key gets shoved front side, and so he anticipates that. You see it here, puts a foot in the ground and gets vertical, okay? And what that does is forces an arm tackle here, and that's why he's able to get vertical. A couple other things that he could have done to make this run even better is just stay vertical here and then pick a side on number 8, go same foot, same shoulder on contact like you did earlier, okay? And I always tell my guys, the end zone is this way.
How did you assess Jaren Hall as a runner?
He's great. He's natural. He understands space very well. He understands how to get vertical. He understands how to cover the ball up and protect it. And he has really good pad level in the run game as well.
Big game with Boise State, a rival, a top 15 team. BYU's had a couple of these this year. I guess what's a key or two to Saturday's game?
I think if we play just a little bit more physical and finish a couple of more of these runs, I think we'll make even a more profound impact in the run game. And hopefully that helps, the team's success. And so that's what I'll be coaching this week, and we'll just continue to work, and we'll see where our work takes us.
Okay, bundle up. It's going to be a cold one Saturday night.
Right.
Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, great stuff from AJ and Jerem. Next up for BYU, it is 14th ranked Boise State Saturday night at LaVell Edwards Stadium. It's BYU's only October home game. The Broncos 6-0 on the year, trying to be that best G5 in the country. They've won 3 in a row over BYU, and Kalani, another typically terrific Boise State squad.
Yeah, Coach Hartson's done an amazing job there in Boise, and they replaced some really experienced quarterbacks, with a group of them that saw time last week with that freshman Bachmeier leading the way, and then but they've had a couple other guys come in and score points. They were up 17-7 when he got hurt, and then they put on 52 points on the scoreboard. So they're an efficient group, and they play well. They have all their returning O-linemen are back, and so from last year, and so it's going to be a big task for our defense. We better be ready to play, and we'll do whatever it takes to get us in a position to have success and to win, like what AJ said earlier.
So you referenced it there. Bachmeier, who's a freshman himself, was having a great start to the season. He gets hit in the hip in that Hawaii game, leaves, and they still play well without him. At this point, Coach Harsin says it's not season ending, that much we know, but I don't know how confident they are about him getting back in time for BYU. Either way, they played 2 other quarterbacks on Saturday against Hawaii. They ran 2 wide receivers out of Wildcat as well, so a bunch of guys took snaps, but those 2 quarterbacks got a lot of meaningful reps, and I'm sure that Coach Harsin feels that not having Bachmeier is not great, but they feel confident with the guys they've got.
Yeah, we're planning on seeing him in the game. That's our mindset is seeing the starter, and that it doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback, because I think they've shown that they can score points regardless, and so we have to be on top of it. We can't sit there and worry about someone being hurt. We've got our own issues to deal with right now as a team, and we're expecting their best shot. They have a great group of talented receivers and skill players at running back and things like that. So. The physical team, and I think the key is going to be for us to match the physicality in the trenches at O-line and D-line, and see what happens.
Okay. Now, it was interesting. BYU came into the forefront as Boise State's one of their best players set a Mountain West Conference record for career sacks. His name is Curtis Weaver. and he broke a record that Jan Jorgensen held. From BYU in career sacks. I think Jan was at 28.5, and Curtis Weaver hit 29.5 a couple of weeks ago. And so he's a special player, Weaver that is. And there you see where
him a lot.
What's that?
He's been around for a long time.
He has been, so, and you see where Jan stood up with Jerry Hughes, a great lineman from our great linebacker from TCU. He was an edge rusher at TCU, I think Hughes was. Yeah, and it got us thinking a little bit too about. It's been a while since BYU left the Mountain West Conference, of course, but there's still a number of BYU records that are still in their books from back in the day. And we just said this isn't all of them, but just a few of them. And some of those great names, Hall and Colley and Unga. And so BYU's still hanging around the old league in a way with some of the records that they set through some productive years there.
Yeah, I mean, that's been prolific stats there, and we've got to find a way to get back on it. And it's be a good week for us to perform on, offense and defense and get some good stats to build up on it.
So as for this Boise game, Kalani, it's been a while since you played a game in Provo. Been a while since you played a night game, too. You've had 4 straight afternoon games all around the country. This will be a late one, probably 8:15, 8:20 kick, and it'll be cold as it tends to be in late October in northern Utah. You ready for it?
Yeah, it's about that time, getting close to Halloween and Thanksgiving, Christmas. So I think winter's coming, it's going to be a lot of fun. It was nice to see our fans out in Tampa, in the Tampa area, so looking forward to being back home, though, and seeing our fans around here. And I know our players are excited to play at home against Boise.
Are we going to be dodging snowflakes Saturday night like they have us on the screen right now? I do wonder about that. Hopefully the forecast isn't that rough, but either way, it is going to chill out a bit. Saturday's game, also the first game of the second half of the season for BYU. Cougars 2-4 through 6 games, of course, with a couple of P5 wins. We are at the halfway point of the Cougars campaign, so we decided to take a brief look back at the top 10 plays of BYU's first half of the season.
Snap in the place are good. Oldroyd, let's see. Got it.
Toa featured back. The option look again. Hall.
End zone touchdown BYU. Jaron Hall. Not one but 2 fakes.
Green wasn't able to secure it. Match up top of the screen. 3rd and 10. Wilson going to take a shot, and that is hauled in. Hefo again. Oh, what a move from Hefo. To the end zone, touchdown.
Keaton Slova's shotgun. Looks and fires quickly to his right. Picked off, diving interception made, just shy of the 30-yard line. Short drop for Jaron. Goes for the end zone, looking for Mill. Dax Mill, did he haunt him with one arm? He did for touchdown! Dax Mill with a great grab!
Forward from SC, all press. Play fake. Wilson setting up, takes a shot downfield, and oh, what a catch! Touchdown! Dax Mill! Out of an empty set here. It's a design quarterback run for Wilson, straight ahead, first down, and touchdown! BYU has the lead again. Yep, it's Williams. Pushing toward the end zone, and no signal yet. Now there it is, touchdown, BYU wins, and an absolutely horrific, gut-wrenching loss for the Tennessee Vols, who had it with about 30 seconds left in regulation, but couldn't hang on. Slovis gonna throw, zips it, has his tip, if it's picked off the game is over, it is intercepted! Who got it for the Cougars? ball. Wilson throws it deep. Oh my goodness, receiver wide open, caught in Tennessee territory. Simon inside of the 30. Clock is running down. He's tackled at the 16 with 7 seconds left. The clock will stop to reset the chains, and then BYU will have to get up there and spike the ball. But how did the receiver Simon get that open?
Wow. Kalani, fun look back.
Yeah, that seems like, man, the 6 games flew by, you know, and obviously not happy about being 2-4 right now, but looking forward to the next 6 and trying to find ways to make more memories. And I think our players are excited about the opportunity that we have a ranked team coming to town. So looking forward to the Boise game this Saturday.
Hopefully more big plays to come in the back half. Bowl eligibility is going to be the goal every season, of course. You know, you've got 6 games left, have to win at least 4. It's out there for you.
Yep, we got to get it going. So, you know, got to win the first one and then focus on Boise State and, you know, and try to improve on what we've already done this year in the first six weeks. And we've got some great opportunities for some other guys to step in and make some plays and be in the next highlight for the next 10 great plays of the next six games.
Okay, as we head to break, we want you to know that you can enjoy a full hot breakfast buffet, dinner Monday through Wednesday, kitchen and large grassy backyard along the Provo River Trail, all at the Residence Inn Marriott in Provo. This reminder, Mondays, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, we talk with BYU's football coordinators on the Coordinators Corner with Jeff Grimes, Elisa Tuiaki, and Ed Lamb, Mondays at 1 Eastern on BYU TV. We're off next week with the bye week, but we're back 1 week from Monday. Break time now. When we come back, the coach takes your questions in studio and social media. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake.
On the basic level, we offer transportation. We carry 4 wheels, tailgates, and a place to rest your rump. Beyond that, we provide adventures, opportunities, and jobs well done. So perhaps our favorite offering is our full line of trucks, including the new Nissan Titan. Right off I-15, Tim Daly Nissan Southtown and the popular full-size Nissan Titan. Think Nissan. Think Tim Daly.
BYU Food to Go's convenient location at 2191 North Canyon Road in Provo makes bringing popular BYU foods to your next event easy. Everything's ready when you need it at the drive and load pickup. You drive in and they load no matter the weather. And stop in the on-site creamery for great BYU chocolate milk and ice cream. BYU Food to Go, bringing campus to your table. Call for details, 801-422-5001.
This is where we dominate. Our playground, place of business. This is our promised land, where we seek to find ourselves. And we're here to make sure the spaces our best prove themselves on appear how they should. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
Call it a path, or a way through. It can be arrow straight, or have twists and turns. It's life's financial journey, and Mountain America Credit Union is here to guide you every step of the way. With timely advice and affordable products, this is your journey. Let's begin together. We're Mountain America, guiding you forward.
All right, welcome back to the program. Coming up Saturday at LaVell Edwards Stadium, BYU Boise State, BYU's 10th all-time meeting with Boise, and a regional rivalry that has BYU's players eager to end Boise's 3-game win streak over the Cougs.
They're one of those teams, I think they're a lot like us. They play football the right way. They're really good in their technique, very good, well coached. So really, it's just like a copycat team.
We just have to finish that one. I think we just got to continue to finish and take advantage of the opportunities we get, and we'll be able to pull it off.
You know, you never want to, take a step back, but sometimes you have to have moments like that as you're moving forward as a program to learn from it. And I think our guys will be a lot better because of, a tough, heartbreaking loss like that last year.
We're gonna have to go in there confident with that killer mentality, and just try and beat them.
And I really believe it's because of some of those experiences last year, as painful as they were, that will be in position to make better decisions in those situations this year.
They're a very physical team. They're very smart in how they play and very sound in how they play. They're very well coached. And so if we're going to be able to beat them, we're going to have to play all 4 quarters hard and fast.
All right, Q&A time on the Sitake Show. We've got a live audience and social media questions queued up. We'll start this week's Q&A session right here in Studio C at BYU TV, and Stratton Lewis is at the mic. Hello, Stratton.
Hello.
Hey.
So I have one question for you. How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching 19 years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that the only question you have?
Yes, it's the only question.
Take
You
us
could have
through
looked it up on the bio or something like that. Yeah.
It hasn't all been at BYU. Tell us where you've been.
Yeah, so first year at Eastern Arizona, 2 years, Eastern Arizona, then a year at GA at BYU, 2 years at Southern Utah, 10 years at Utah, 1 year at Oregon State, and 4 here at BYU. So, yeah, and I've aged quite a bit since then. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Coaching is a fun job, and it's just you get to be around great people, fans, and young men. So it's nice.
Stratton, thanks. Appreciate it. From social media, Andrew G. Garrett on Twitter. What is your long-term vision for the BYU football program?
Oh man, I obviously long-term vision is always built around the players, and I've been lucky to have great people around me when I came through with my experience here at BYU, and I owe that a lot to Wrubell and the wonderful staff that he had around me when I was playing. And so, but the experience that I had being around the faculty and staff and the fans here at BYU helped shape me into the man that I am today. You know, so I think the most important thing is for our players that think about the future and think about the things that they're going to learn here at BYU, because it's helped them become a better father and husband and great contributors in the community. And that's why I'm focused on helping them do that. And the best part about adversity is how much you learn and grow through it. We're going through some tough times right now, but my dad always says that, you know, tough times don't last, tough people do. And this is a tough group with a lot of tough fans, and we're willing to match their expectations, so we're hoping to get that done.
Okay, back at the mic here in Studio C. Friend of the program, Brenton Farrell. Hello, Brenton.
Hello, Greg, Coach. So you've mentioned before that a lot of mistakes come from a player trying to do too much and going outside of their role. So what is the key that you found with this particular team that helps keep them disciplined and avoid the inconsistencies that come with trying to do too much?
Well, I think it's like a catch-22, because part of it is allowing them to use their athleticism and their instincts as well, you know. So there's more than just one way to do things, and I think the key is to teach them the foundation and teach them the things that they need to do, the assignments, and then allow them to use their athleticism and instincts to take over. Otherwise, they're not going to be aggressive. I've talked about being aggressive quite a bit, and being aggressive means that they just go and play and have fun and do their deal, right? And that comes with a lot of rehearsal and practice time, but I think that sometimes in the game you just have to figure it out. And I think the biggest, probably the best example I've seen of a guy doing that is Kyle Van Noy. He just finds a way to make plays, and if you notice, he's doing that. He did it in college, and he's doing that in the NFL still, because he's allowed just to go out and be free. And it's not all basic stuff and fundamental things. And some of the things that he does is just you don't know why he's doing it, but it works out because he just has the instincts on it. So a balance of both.
Okay, Brenton, thanks. Social media once again at CDShaw99 on Twitter. Are you involved in the defensive game plan, and how much do you talk with Coach Tuiaki about it game to game?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I think the most important part for me is to be heavily involved in the defense, and I'm responsible for everything that happens in this program, you know, whether it's special teams, defense, and offense. And I think there's a time to really get involved heavily if needed, and there's times that I can take a step back and allow them to grow. But I think for the most part, my job is to mentor him as a defensive coordinator and to, you know, look at some of the mistakes that are made, look at some of the things that highlight and praise him when things that we're doing well. But I have an expertise that's unique, and you know, we're gonna use everything that I got. And as we talk about it, E and I have a great relationship, so it's never going to be a problem for me and him to give direct and honest feedback to each other. So looking forward to this week and seeing some of the things that we can improve on from last game.
Okay, back in studio to Sam Fletcher at the mic. Hello, Sam.
Hello. So my question is, what age do you think kids should start playing football?
I don't know. I think that it all depends. Whatever your mom and dad say is the most important age. So they know you better than you know yourself, and I would just rely on them. I think it's okay. I have a son, and I think it's okay for him to play flag football at first and learn the game, and then eventually when he gets around middle school to high school years, around 8th grade or so, think about playing football.
How old were you when you started playing?
I played since I was little, but times are different now, and you know we know more about the science of football and about the contact sports, and so I think it's important for everyone. It's so different. I mean, I grew up, I was skinny and small, so I mean, believe it or not, I was really, really small growing up, and I was always the small kid. So I think it all depends on how you match up with your age group and how much fun you can have playing the game.
Okay, this is definitely a non-football related question coming in from social media. At Cougs and Reds 24 on Twitter says Tom Holmoe is known for epic Halloween costumes. If you and Tom were going to a party together with matching costumes, what would they be? You see some suggestions there on the screen. What do you think? And Tom does a great job, by the way. He puts a lot of thought into his Halloween costumes.
I mean, I can't sit still that long to have the makeup and all that stuff done, and so I usually just go with something simple, you know what I mean? And when I was younger, I just did whatever it took to get candy in the bag. So now that I'm an adult, doesn't mean as much, but I actually, every year we're excited to see what Tom's dressed up as. He was Lord Voldemort one time, and it honestly scared me a little bit.
How good it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good, and he's done some crazy, he was gosh, I'm trying to think of what else he was.
Well, he was the Mad Hatter one year.
Yep, that's right.
He was Abraham Lincoln one year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he spends a lot of time in makeup doing all that, and I think the student athletes love it, you know, so I think a lot of the athletes got into it themselves. We always do that trunk or treat deal with the athletic department, so looking forward to seeing what he dresses up in this year. But
always good.
I'm not much of a dress-up guy. I just like the candy.
Yeah, Tom does knock it out of the park, though, every year. It'll be all over social media. You won't need to worry about you'll find it on social media when Halloween week rolls around. All right, heading to break, folks. West Coast Conference Player of the Week, Whitney Bauer, and the 9th-ranked women's volleyball team have won 10 in a row, hosting conference rival San Diego. The Toreros just outside of the top 25 right now, so toughest league match of the season for BYU. Watch it on BYU TV Friday night, 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. Coming up next, we check in with our Cougars and the pros. We get to know Khyiris Tonga, and we visit with JJ Nwigwe live in Studio C. This is BYU football with Kalani Sitake.
Dexter & Dexter is a full-service law firm offering a wide range of legal services. Since 1995, we have helped more than 20,000 Utahns both to navigate life's challenges and to make the most of life's opportunities. From personal injury to business law, and from adoption to bankruptcy, we are passionate about shouldering your burdens. To learn more about scheduling a no-obligation consultation, visit dexterlaw.com.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork sells Ford vehicles including the F-150, the pickup designed for work and play. Tim Daly Ford maintains a large inventory, providing more choices for selecting an F-150 with the power and engineering to carry and tow heavy loads. The F-150's design offers comfort, safety, and a range of options to choose from. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
Oh man, we're doing this. Come on, Mike. All right.
BYU football with Kalani Sitake is brought to you by Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life.
All right, today's Cougars in the NFL board looks like this. Fred Warner continuing to make an impact for the undefeated 49ers. 6 tackles in a TFL as the Niners beat the Rams. Ziggy Ansah with a strip and a recovery and a Seahawks win over the Browns in Cleveland. Taysom Hill did a little bit for the Saints in their win against the Jags. And Michael Davis had 5 tackles for the Chargers and a loss to the Steelers on Sunday night. So cool to see the intros to the defenders and see Michael Davis, BYU. He was a great player for the Cougs, and he's turning out to be a heck of a player for the Chargers as well. Well, a few weeks ago, we visited right here on this show with BYU defensive lineman Khyiris Tonga. It was a great conversation. We got to know him a little bit more and a little bit more about the Cougars man in the middle. Tonight, a more personal look at Khyiris' life and a special in-depth feature we call Deep Blue.
Khyiris has been fun to coach. He's an awesome young man, really made strides in this last year as a vocal leader, which, you know, if you had known Khyiris before, you couldn't get 2 words out of him.
In high school, my mom, it was hard for her. There's times where she would be in the shelter and we couldn't be there. So there's times where I was going back and forth, like looking for a place to stay. Like every night I didn't know where I was gonna go after school. My dad was never really in the picture. It was hard. It was a rough time, and then my senior year,
He was adopted by another family, and this is one of his best friend's family that took him in.
My mom, she basically asked him if they can take care of me and that she can't help me anymore. So that was hard for me. I just felt like someone was giving up on me. She was gone from there. Going into my senior year, I got into some trouble. I couldn't play football. I couldn't be around anyone. I was on house arrest. I felt like everything was just getting taken away from me. I learned quickly that blessings in disguises. I got into the church. My family helped me, started teaching me how to pray, started teaching me how to read the scriptures.
He gone through a lot at a young age, and so the fact that he was able to embrace such a wonderful family, for the Tonga family to love him, and it goes to show how much just loving someone and caring for someone can really change their entire life. He's a living proof of that.
Finally graduated that senior year, and I was getting ready to go to Utah. And my pops, the guy that I'm with now, and we were driving, and I just told my dad, Dad, I think I want to serve a mission. And he just stopped the car, and he's like, you want to what? I was like, I want to serve a mission. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into, but it was just something I just felt like I needed to do.
That was something my wife and I always wanted him to do, was go on a mission. But at the same time, we didn't want to pressure him or force him. So I said to him, I says, well, why do you want to go on a mission? And I'll never forget what he says. He said, God's watched me all my life, and the least I can do is give back 2 ears. And right then I knew it was sincere, because all he wanted to do in his life was to play football. But now he understands that there's something more important than football.
I left as soon as I got clear with my bishop, and I went. And without the mission, I don't know where I would be. I don't know if I'd be at Utah or get into trouble, but I'm here at BYU, and it's been good for me.
Now the Cougars bring pressure. In trouble, and sacked is Tonga.
The expression of gratitude is him. He is so thankful for everything, and he can't express enough how much he shows his gratitude and how grateful he is to everyone when he could easily complained and quit a long time ago.
Slovis to the air, gets hit, and taken down for a sack by Tonga.
Having Khyiris as a brother fills in the missing puzzle piece that we never knew we had. Even though I love Utah, I am a Khyiris Tonga fan. That is the only player I will ever cheer for. I think he just knows that we love the youth so much, so he's kind of used to it. We joke around and say he's a chimpo, if you guys know Mulan. The biggest guy in the whole movie. but he's the most graceful, the most loving. Looking at the pictures, like our family pictures of Khyiris not in it, it's kind of weird. We don't like looking at it because we always know that someone's missing. And so we don't really frame those pictures up because it's not our family.
You know, there are people that God put in your path for a reason. When he used to talk about his struggles, I would think to myself, where was I? Where was I when all of this happened? And he would just look at me, he would say, Mom, it's okay. Because in a way, I knew if I had him earlier, he would not go through those struggles. Because I'm very protective over my children. And I love him as if he was naturally ours.
So my heroes are my mom, my dad. They mean everything to me. Everything I am, everything I will be is because my parents. It's been a little crazy, but I wouldn't change anything, so.
Well, Kalani, you love all your guys, but not hard to see that you've got a special spot for Khyiris.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, got him to sign at a different school, and then, you know, he just, the way things worked out, he went on a mission and just saw a huge transformation in a person, and just makes sense for him to be here at BYU, even with his sisters wanting to be at Utah. You know, I feel like he's a part of our family that we needed here at BYU as well, and we have a lot of cool stories like those guys on our team, and there's a lot of guys that are even going through some adversity and some tough times now, and it's the fact that they get to represent BYU and the church, and that they have wonderful fans that love and support them. That means a lot to these guys, and I'm speaking for them because it actually, the fans and the support, the love you give them, the prayers that you give them, they feel, and they sincerely appreciate everything that our fans do for them.
Right. Well, I'm glad we got to see that too. We're going to stay in defensive line mode right now as we welcome in tonight's player guest. But he wasn't always on that side of the ball here at BYU. He's played offensive line and tight end before switching over. Great to have with us tonight, number 88, JJ Nwigwe. Thanks for coming on. Good to see you. Have a seat. All right, I think it's our first visit with you here on this show, so let's backtrack a little bit. What got you to BYU initially?
To be honest, at first, I never really heard about the school. I just know that all Texas fans hated BYU and Taysom Hill. And so they offered me, and I looked into the school, and it was like the best fit, and like with me and my family, and my mom was like, oh, I love this place. Like, I'm not saying anything, but I like that school a lot. And so it really helped me come out here.
Okay, so you already mentioned Texas, and your home was, at least where you played high school, was Rockwall, Texas.
Yes,
Explain where that is.
So Rockwall is about 20 miles east of Dallas. And so up here, people are like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, Rockwall. It's like, where is that? I was like, just Dallas. But it's 20 miles east of Dallas, and it's kind of like a cross between a city and a farm town.
It's got a little bit of water from what I can tell. There's like a big lake nearby or something like that,
Yes,
right around Rockwall.
Lake Ray Hubbard.
Yeah. Did you get on the water a lot or not your thing?
Not my thing. I was more the indoors type. Just play video games with my little brothers.
Your BYU career has seen you on the O-line, some tight end, lots of special teams as well. You've kind of seen it all, haven't you?
Yes, sir. It's been fun to play like different positions.
Remember this play?
I still remember that play because I remember coach was like, JJ, we're going to give you the ball next time the offense goes on the field. And it was a turnover. And I'm like, oh my, this is it, this is it. And I'm running out on the field, and they say HUD, and I remember going out for the play, and Joe looks at me, he's like, oh, there he is. And he throws it to me. I'm like, please catch it, please catch it, please catch it. And then when I caught it, I didn't know what to do, so I just ran straight, and just looking at the sideline and looking at my teammates and the guy the coaches decided for me, it was really fun.
Kalani, how about the decision then to take him away from that glory on the opposite side of the ball and make him a D lineman?
Well, I mean, he's tough enough. He played O-line, you know, and athletic enough to go to tight end because they needed a presence on line of scrimmage and blocking and catching. right? But blocking was the main thing. And then, you know, we recognized how tough he was. And now him playing D-line, it was important that we redshirted him last year, and so that he can get schoolwork done and graduate, but also to give him, I think we felt like there's a need for him on D-line. And we first started him out at D-end. He's a tweener. He plays D-end and D-tackle, and he's strong and tough enough to handle the inside D-tackle position, but has a lot of speed and athleticism to play on the outside too. So he's a big part of our D-line and our success on defense, and he's a guy that holds the ground a lot. And, you know, so I think he's going to make big plays for us, and looking forward to him doing it against Boise on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
How did you feel about switching over? Did you have to catch the vision and what Kalani had for you?
Well, switching over at first, like on offense, is you kind of know the play and you go to executing on defense is more as reaction. So at first, I would, and even still now, like sometimes I'll just overthink things and just like, oh, okay, like usually I'm used to be told what to do, but now I have to like react. And that was kind of the biggest thing. But the D-line and Coach E and Coach Kalani had like put their arms around me and like helped me learn how to play defense, and it's just been a really fun time.
Okay, how about life in Provo, life on campus and all that? How's it been with you?
It's cold here. Coming from Texas and coming here, I just remember my first day, it snowed on campus, and I look outside and there's snow on the ground. I'm like, okay, I'm going back to sleep. And I'm like, wait, I was like, are there people walking up to class? I'm like, is class not canceled?
No such thing as a snow day around here. Yeah.
And I was like, what are these trucks doing? It's like, oh, they're getting ice off the ground so everybody can go to school. I'm like, whoa, so we got class today. I was like, okay, let me get ready then. But I think that was the biggest change. And school here is a really good school, but it's very rigorous. So a lot of studying time and really good degrees here. And so I really like the school.
Okay, what are you hoping to accomplish here in your final season?
Just contribute to the team as much as I can, and try to help our team to play to the best of their abilities and try to win some games and get a degree from a great university.
Okay, you got Boise State coming in this weekend, ranked team, of course, national attention as always. Your thoughts on hoping to beat a second ranked team here at home, because you did it against USC earlier in the year?
I'm just ready to play Boise State. I think when we play them, it's just a rivalry game, and it brings out the best of both teams, and competing is very fun to do, definitely when you go against those guys. So we've been preparing this week and had a good day of practice today, so hopefully, that can carry over to the game.
Okay, there are different forecasts for Saturday night right now. I'll just tell you, knowing how much you love the snow, don't look at any forecasts, okay? But bundle up. It might be a little chilly Saturday night is all I'm going to say. You've been around this long enough to know how it goes, though, in October, November here in Provo.
Oh, yes, sir. I think the coldest game I had was when I was playing O-line my freshman year, and we went to go play in Utah State at the end of, towards November.
I remember that one.
And I remember going to the locker room, and I started bundling up, put leggings on. I think I had 2 shirts on, and the O-line comes up. He's like, last game of the season, O-lineman's going no sleeves. I'm like, okay, he must be talking to y'all. He's like, no, everybody. You know how linemen have the persona, don't wear sleeves, be
tough.
Be tough. And so I didn't wear any sleeves that game. And I just remember at halftime, I could not feel my feet. And I was just next to the heater the whole game. And I never really left the heater. And so everybody just okay, I applaud you for doing those sleeves, but next time you can share the heat with some other people.
Well, I have heard, maybe Kalani can confirm this, I have heard there may be some heated benches in store for you guys. Have you heard that too?
Best way to get warm is make plays.
Okay. And you're not having
hit somebody really hard, and you'll get really warmed up. So that's the only way I know how to get warm, is to hit somebody, be aggressive, and run really fast.
Okay, forget the creature comforts. Yeah. Have a great night Saturday. Appreciate it, JJ. Thanks for coming in. All right, fans, did you know you can have your groceries waiting for you to be picked up, or better yet, dropped off at your front door? It's all done online at smithsfoodanddrug.com or on their app on your phone. Download the Smiths app and save time. Shop online. As we go to break, here's a trivia question. BYU at South Florida this past Saturday. Matt Bushman caught his 100th ball. Who's BYU's all-time leader in receptions? The answer coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Have a car wreck? Martin's Collision Repair.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martin's Collision Repair.
If I got hurt and was laid up at home, I wouldn't even think to call a lawyer. What a hassle. I'd want to meet them first.
What if I told you that for your first consultation, your lawyer will come to you, home or hospital?
Really?
Really.
They do that?
If you've been injured, we'll come to you. It's your job to get better. It's our job to deal with the insurance companies.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
They prefer to be bringing the heat, getting set for success, demonstrating their drive. But when their blood and sweat turns to tears or anything else, we lay the groundwork for BYU's athletes to hit the ground running again, and you as well. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU athletics.
We're in the South African township of Khyiris.
These people already are only living on a gallon worth of water every day. If they have a really bad drought this year, they will not have water.
A learning center can introduce new ways of dealing with this dangerous reality.
If we can build a place where lives are changed, that's a pretty big deal.
All right, before the break, we asked you who is BYU's all-time leader in receptions. The answer, Cody Hoffman, 260 all-time catches. Great stuff. All right, last minute of the show. It's been more than a month since BYU's last win. Boise's a rivalry game. It's a home game. Every reason to be fired up. We've heard you already. You're ready to go for this thing, aren't you?
Yeah, I think the guys are ready too, and we got a lot of energy and excitement for the game, and we know that we have been playing well, and this is a good opportunity for us to change it all and to do it at home. I think it's a great time for us to be at home right now.
All right, best of luck to you and the boys on Saturday night.
Go Cougs.
Okay, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Fans, to request seats for the show in 2 weeks, because next week's the bye week, go to BYUCougars.com/Sitake Show. Next week, we are off for the bye. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. For Director David Holiday, producer Jaron Jordan, JJ Nwigwe, the coach Kalani Sitake, I'm Greg Wrubell. This has been BYU Football with Kalani Sitake here at Studio C. Go Cougs!